So Yandere Dev made a response video for the recent allegations. I wouldn't even call it recent, it's been so long ago. And it's honestly pretty bad. There's certain things that are good about it, and it's definitely better than most response videos. But this response video is a whole different type of bad. It's a sad kind of bad, right? Because there is like a genuine good part to it, but he also leaves things out or downplays certain things that he's done to make it not look as bad. Now, the comment section on this video is kind of scary, given that so many people are accepting this apology, and the like to dislike ratio is a bit of a mixed bag, which is expected. And obviously, there's a different view on him on Twitter and TikTok and stuff like that, which is not a huge surprise. YouTube and Twitter normally has a different view on things, but usually the views they have on things are generally YouTube has the better view and Twitter and TikTok and stuff like that have the worst view. But in this case, it's kind of the other way around, at least when it comes to his audience. I can't really say, of course, for other people how they view it, but when it comes to his audience, it's seen as positive. Now, the possibility is that he's deleted comments, but let's get into looking into this video and just see the more manipulation that's put into it.
Hello, I'm Yandere Dev, the developer of Yandere Simulator. Last year, an extremely serious allegation was made about me that I would like to address. The accusation is that I attempted to groom an underage fan of my game. I will take accountability and admit that I did discuss inappropriate topics with a fan. However, the accusation that I deliberately attempted to groom this fan is false. In this video, I would like to apologize for what I feel I should apologize for, but I would also like to give you the full story so that you know what is true and what isn't true. Let's start at the beginning.
Now, right off the bat, when it comes to the beginning of this video, it is a pretty good introduction. You know, you don't have the typical sigh you have in a apology and response video, and it is nice to hear that he wants to apologize for certain things. But when you later on look into the video, he apologizes for things in a way to, once again, make it look like what he did isn't as bad. But as anyone who looked into the situation knows, what he's done is pretty bad. And when you look at everything in the drama and the allegations, it's kind of weird how he downplays it.
Last year, a fan of my game contacted me and wanted to chat. Usually, when a fan tries to talk with me, I just tell them that I'm too busy. But this person seemed really nice and friendly and funny, so I decided, you know what, sure, let's talk. She let me know right off the bat that she was 16, but I didn't see any problem with that.
Yeah, that doesn't sound weird out of context.
When I was 16, I had online friends that were in their 20s and 30s, so it just didn't feel weird to me. In the beginning, our conversations were normal, but she had a kind of adult sense of humor, and every now and then she would bring up a topic or ask a question that wasn't really appropriate. When this would happen, I wasn't entirely comfortable with it, but I rationalized to myself that it was no big deal and just kept talking with her. Eventually, I must have said something that sounded like a red flag to her, because at some point she started to record our conversations.
Now, there's a lot wrong with this part, and I'll get into the issues. Okay, for one, when he starts talking about this, he says that there's uncomfortable stuff that she was saying, like adult jokes, and it's not a surprise for someone that age to make adult jokes, but for someone that's the adult in the situation, if you aren't comfortable with talking about this stuff, you either do one or two things. You either stop talking to this person altogether, or you say to them that you are not comfortable with this and you're done talking about this, and you don't want to talk about this stuff at all, and just keep the conversations PG, you know? They're just you do one of those two things. It's really not that difficult, right? It's not that hard. You could still have a conversation with someone and it not have inappropriate humor or inappropriate conversations that an adult should not be having with someone underage.
Just in case I turned out to be some kind of predator.
Another issue I have with him saying it in this way is that he makes it almost sound like this person that he was talking to is someone that's trying to be manipulative. Now, later on, he talks about how the person that he was talking to wasn't the manipulative one, but the YouTuber who made a video on him is the manipulative one, which in itself looks manipulative on his part.
She showed our conversations to a YouTuber, and the YouTuber decided, yep, this guy seems like a groomer. We need to expose him. From what I've been hearing, it kind of sounds like the YouTuber started coaching the girl on how to manipulate me into saying things that would make me look bad, which wasn't what the girl wanted. But you don't have to just take my word for it. The girl has written a statement about the entire situation, giving her side of the story. I've put a link to it in the description below.
Now, if you read the document here of what the girl said, it basically makes her, she makes herself in to be this like person to blame, and she also blames the YouTuber, which isn't true. Like, even if, well, what this girl has to realize is even if she said weird things to this guy, that doesn't change the fact that the guy reciprocated these conversations and allowed things to get weird, when all he had to do was either shut it down quickly and say, I'm not comfortable with these conversations, or stop talking to you. Now, obviously, at this point, he would have been too deep into these conversations where it would have been too late. But at that point, it still shows he's a creep.
I won't tell you what to think about it. You're welcome to read it for yourself and draw your own conclusions. So, with the YouTuber apparently instructing the girl on how to steer our conversations in an inappropriate direction, our discussions got pretty weird.
Understatement of the year, and we're already beginning.
I wasn't comfortable with it, and I tried to express that, but like an idiot, I just went along with it anyway. Because I had gotten into the habit of being really candid around this girl and just casually responding to whatever she said, it was very easy for her to get recordings of me answering questions I shouldn't have answered and discussing topics I should not have discussed. And the YouTuber then used those recordings to make a 40-minute long video accusing me of being a groomer.
See, right here, he just keeps making the YouTuber this demonized person. It's like, regardless of what was shown, you still engaged in these conversations. And even when you look at the video, a lot of what you see, you can't bring any, like, defense or context to. It's still weird and gross. Like, to a point where it's gone way too far. This isn't just some, inappropriate adult jokes you're making with someone that's underage. No, this goes to a point of sexual behavior. And whether, let's just say that, like, what looks to be sexual behavior is seen as a joke, it's still wrong no matter how you put it.
Out of respect for all of the people in the world who have actually been groomed, we should use the word grooming correctly. Grooming is when an adult tries to establish a relationship with a child with the intention of exploiting or abusing the child. That doesn't describe what I did. I didn't develop a friendship with the girl for that reason.
Regardless of what your reasons were from the start, that still doesn't change the fact that you yourself still continued to be gross, you know? And I get that we're in a point where we misuse the word grooming, and we always try to apply it to every single instance or every single situation, even to like teenagers, that people are getting called groomers when they're like 17 and the person's 16 and they're like talking to each other. They're getting called groomers. It's happened. And it's just like such a misuse of the like term. But regardless of that, trying to explain grooming to people and also saying out of respect to people who were groomed also in itself looks very manipulative on your part, because regardless of if it was grooming or not, you still did something that is inappropriate, regardless what the term grooming means.
That wasn't my intention. I did not attempt to establish a romantic or sexual relationship with the girl. But after having my behavior explained to me as commonly associated with romance...
Okay, well, I wouldn't really say what you did was romance. I wouldn't consider that romantic in the slightest. It's weird that you have to be explained like a dog that what you were doing was creepy and weird. I just, the way he described that just seems very strange to me. Just the way it's like, it was described to me that what I was doing was wrong.
No shit.
It's like, what are you, what are you, like a child? No, you're a grown adult. I don't think you need to explain to you.
I can understand how it was interpreted that way. I feel like it's worth mentioning that a lot of the remarks I made only sound bad when they're out of context. For example, there was one time when the girl jokingly said, "You should make an OnlyFans." And I said, "No, that's dumb. No one would ever want to see that." And she said something like, "Come on, it's so easy to make money on OnlyFans."
Yeah, no, that's not at all what she said. If you actually listen to the recording, not once did she say, "Come on, it's so easy to make money on OnlyFans." She never said that, right? She did bring up the topic of OnlyFans, but he never said that. And the way he said it was going more and more into detail about making an OnlyFans, and then also went more into detail about what would he do with his own OnlyFans. Now, he brings up something really, really like important after this, but regardless of how important it is, it's coming from the wrong guy, and also is not something that needs to be said in a video addressing this kind of situation.
And when I heard that, I thought, whoa, that's a little concerning. Don't tell me that social media is brainwashing this generation to think that they should just go directly into porn the second they turn 18 because it's the best way to get rich quick. That's a little concerning. I wanted to know if she was joking or if she was being serious. So I asked her, "Are you planning to start an OnlyFans?" And of course, the YouTuber used the recording of me saying, "Are you planning to start an OnlyFans?" to frame me as someone who initiates horrifically inappropriate discussions with children.
Yeah, I don't know about that because the discussion you had before talking about the OnlyFans was talking about genitalia. Like, unless you're a science teacher or some like teacher teaching sex ed, you're not going to be talking about genitalia with kids. I'm sorry, that's just something you don't do. Looking at that, it seems to me that you are someone that initiates these conversations. And not only that, when you asked her and she said no, you got defensive and a little upset about that, saying like, well, why would you ask other people to break one but not make one yourself? Which makes it sound like you're wanting her to do that. Like, I'm sorry if like that's not the intention of what you were trying to say, but what you said there made it sound like that. Doesn't matter what defense you bring up.
Which is just completely dishonest. There's a part of me that wants to go point by point down the list of every single questionable or suspicious thing I said and provide context for absolutely everything, but that's not really the main issue here. For one thing, a lot of the stuff I said is just weird no matter what the context is. I'll just admit it. But more importantly, I never should have let conversations like that happen in the first place. A normal, mentally healthy adult would have just blocked the girl immediately after the very first time she said something inappropriate. But I didn't. And having to face that fact was a wake-up call that made me realize I had deteriorated mentally.
After this, he goes on about the fact that him working on this game for so long and him taking away all his needs, were like social needs, everything like that, has affected him mentally and caused him to be this way, which I don't view as an excuse. But regardless of that, if this is something that is making you be this way, maybe you should just stop making the game as a whole and just, take your time away from the internet as a whole. I'm sure he can't get probably a regular job since he's since he's now seen as his predator, and any employer that looks into who he is probably not going to hire him. So I get that this is his only really real source of income, but he kind of dug this hole himself, and in all honesty has been having so much controversy over the years that he should have had a wake-up call a long time ago that he needs to just get off the internet and stop making this game. That's basically all I want to say for this video. Later on, he goes on this whole rant about how he had his issues mentally, about basically closing himself off ever since he worked on this game, and it's a lot of excuse after excuse about mental health, which is a very common thing you see with these videos. And though yes, your mental health may have had issues, it doesn't exactly excuse what you did. But anyways, hope you enjoyed, and bye.